What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Mikey McNuggets, Earl the Pearl, joining you for another 2-minute warning Browns post-game edition. Another sad Browns post-game. Earl, we'll get G. Bush joining us here any moment. He's running a second late. I see he's actually logging on as we speak. So we'll get G. Bush in here. But Earl, Browns are down 32-13. The Patriots about to run the clock out, and that's all she wrote. The Browns, after beating the Dolphins last week, have fallen to the Patriots. And another day where the offense was non-existent. MIA. We'll talk about it. But overall, your thoughts on the game, Earl?
I mean, same old Browns, different week. I think if anything, we learned that last week was just the one-off, that the Miami Dolphins is just as bad, or if not, worse than we are, that the weather dictated a more comparable game plan for Kevin Stefanski. You move on to New England, and it's the same old. I thought the opening drive was phenomenal. Scripted drive, you go down and you get a touchdown early. Nice throw from Dylan Gabriel. He was up under center, hit the play action. You hit Harold Fannin wide open. That was pretty much the end of that. Myles Garrett, career game. Carson Schwarzenegger got his first career interception. Got hurt at the end. I hope he's okay. But overall, I mean, it's the same horrible, anemic offense. It's the same, born scheme. It's the same terrible quarterback play from Dylan Gabriel. The one thing that you have to your advantage is Quinshon Judkins. You knew that the New England Patriots had to stop run defense, and you didn't get creative enough in the run game to get Quinshon going. You should have got started early and often. I talked to Christopher Price from the Boston Globe yesterday, and he talked about the best thing to do against the New England Patriots is get started early. How they pretty much are allow a lot of yards, a lot of touchdowns within their first two drives of every single game. You've seen the scripted drive work. Kevin Stefanski couldn't put a competent drive 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 together. And it ended up being what it was. The longest play from scrimmage ended up being a trick play from Malachi Corley.
The jet sweep.
He had the longest run of the day. I thought you should have did more to get Quinshon Judkins involved early to give yourself a decent shot. I thought a lot of those risky throws and hero balls that Dylan Gabriel had been getting away with the first couple starts, that finally came home to roost. And, he got picked off a couple times today. So just all in all, I mean, it's not much that we can say in a losing performance that we haven't said all season. The offense is bad. You question the play calling. I thought the defense did not perform well outside of Myles Garrett today. They got gashed early and often, gave up over 140 yards total rushing. I know Travion Henderson had that fumble late, but he hadn't been getting many touches. And the first time he gets some real snaps is against us, and he was really effective.
G, before you go, I just want to mention one thing on that opening drive. The Browns put Harold Fannin in the backfield, lined him up as fullback on that touchdown, snuck him out, run a little flood concept, used him from the inline instead of sliding up on the outside, got wide open. Daniel Oyefusi of ESPN tweeted out that he had 7.7 yards of separation on that touchdown catch. It was the largest yard of separation a Browns touchdown has had in 3 years, which shows you they just don't scheme guys wide open for touchdowns like certain other teams do. I tweeted out hey, opening script, Stefanski strikes again, but it can't be just an opening script. It has to continue. And then we saw almost no creativity. We saw nothing from the offense. They scored a second touchdown after a 15-yard punt from New England that gift-wrapped them awesome field position. I'm going to keep my comments short today. There's just not a lot to say. I expected them to get their butts kicked. They got their butts kicked. The offense was anemic. And Myles Garrett's otherworldly, and he had 5 sacks and a 19-point loss, which kind of sums up his entire Browns career. Right?
Yeah, man. It's crazy. He was throwing helmets and everything, bro. I just wanted to come in here with my sexy voice on because right now we got mistreated. We got mistreated out here, man. I feel like, the Patriots came out here and really just gave us that work, and we got to be better, by the way. Just supercomputer malfunction. GG, Dylan Gabriel, computer, T5 86.5. I throw no touchdowns. I throw no interceptions. I will find a ball and get it to the person wide open. Oh my goodness, that was intentional grounding. There was no one in the area. What are you talking about? That has to be a mistake. Guys, listen, this is nasty work. Kevin Stefanski has been demoted to, I wouldn't let him be the offensive coordinator for Ohio State. Again, he came out here with his one little drive, did Denny's menu work for one drive. And then guess what? You got smoked. It wasn't even. Do you think the Patriots were really pressed this game? Do you notice how when they play regular teams, the Patriots was like, oh, this is light bars. I'm just out here hanging out. There was never a time nobody in a blue jersey felt somebody in a white jersey was going to get a win today. Never. Nope. There was never a thought process. By the way, I'm tired of pretending. I can't pretend anymore. I can't pretend anymore that we just watching Dillon Gabriel and we just really making sure that this is a starter. It's not a starter, bro. I saw Drake Maye. Every week when we play good players, you look at our players and you look at their players. You look at our players, say, hey, the Browns really don't have anybody over 5'8" at quarterback.
At receiver.
You see what happens when Quinshon Judkins goes out the game, right? Dylan Sampson was getting snatched up like he was outside with the street lights on. Boy, if you don't get yourself back in this house.
Like it was 9 o'clock in the summertime.
9 o'clock, the street lights is on. Get up the street. These dudes be getting yoked up, smacked up, punished. Bro, listen, this game was not close. And by the way, I'm done pretending. We can all listen. The off ramp is available for you guys. Come on over. The off ramp is available. If you gave him an opportunity, you gave him a shot. We did. We didn't even come on here and rag on him and go crazy. But if you think that work out there is going to get you any sort of wins in the future, you won't get wins in the CFL with that type of work. That's CFL type play. And we sitting here putting our capes on. We Captain Kirk. We love us some Stefanski and we love Dillon Gabriel. Hey, man, at the end of the day, man, I'm not going to waste all my little Sunday emotion on them because that's what y'all asked for. That's what we like. But we can't move them, Kevin. Watch. And here's the vicious circle. You see the nasty work. You wait a couple hours. Wait till we get on UCSS tomorrow. McNuggets will toss it up to us. Let's give our reactions, all shotgun reactions. And the first thing you'll hear is, well, what did you think we were going to see, G?
Wow.
Competent football.
Did you hear?
Well, we all knew. I would think that we all know. No, you didn't. Don't speak for me. G. Bush speaks for me. I don't like what the nasty work is being put on the football field. Maybe you guys do.
Did you hear what Jimmy Haslam said this weekend, G?
Jimmy Haslam.
Did you happen to see his comments?
Yeah, I heard the comments. Y'all might want to stop showing up to that place. Comments.
I don't know how to take. If anyone missed what Jimmy said, Jimmy essentially gave Stefanski the vote of confidence. And he said, once again, I messed up on the Deshaun trade. I'm paraphrasing, but I messed up on the Deshaun trade. We put Kevin in a tough spot. We still like what he's doing. We believe he can get us out of the hole that we've dug ourselves into. Gee, I don't know how, whether he says that now, and I understand this is before the bye, and now the Browns are 2-6? Is that the record? 2-6? This was week 8. Yeah, so they're 2-6. Still got 9 games to go, G. If it doesn't look any better, I just don't know how you can keep Kevin Stefanski around. And frankly, if you have faith in Stefanski and Berry as a tandem to lead another rebuild, then you have blind faith that I simply do not. I just don't think the track record's there to validate either of them. And I'm not sure if you change quarterbacks, if it's going to look better. But I know this. It can't look much worse, right? Like maybe Shador's better, maybe he's not. It can't be worse, and you can't have a worse offensive showing than we've seen with the Dillon Gabriel-led Browns over the last 4 weeks. And it's not even necessarily all Dillon. The receivers are terrible. Like, let's just call a spade a spade. These receivers are objectively horrific. Isaiah Bond is fast, or I'm not sure he knows how to play football. Like, how does he run to the end zone at one play and then gets forced out of bounds on the catch? Gabriel has to be able to reach him, by the way. It's not all Bond. He didn't turn his head around quick enough. You go back to that Pittsburgh game. The ball hits him in the helmet. That's 100% a Bond issue, not a quarterback issue. It's an entire disaster. But all I know is what we've watched for the last month, and a month is not a tiny sample size. Is it enough? Maybe not, but it's not tiny. It's been horrific on all accounts. Horrific. And that's probably being too nice and generous to the word horrific. I'm not even sure that is a low enough adjective to describe what we've seen. So, Earl, I'm ready for a change. I'm ready for a complete change, not just at the quarterback position, but from an entire offensive philosophy standpoint. And the defense wasn't great today either outside of Myles Garrett. Myles was special. No one else. I saw Kayshon Boutte make Denzel Ward fall. In a million years, I thought that would happen, and that's the perfect encapsulation of kind of how this game went. The Patriots beat the brakes off Cleveland in every facet, guys. It's bad.
Yeah, I don't even think it's really about X's and O's no more. I know, like, every week we do fence riders, and when the audience see kind of like what my responses are, the running joke is the Cleveland Browns broke me. The Cleveland Browns ain't break me. I've just made the conscious decision to place my energy elsewhere. So a whole lot going on. There's a other lot of things that I can be upset about over versus the Cleveland Browns. The reality of the situation is I'm not sure if Kevin Stefanski's message in that locker room still resonates like it once did. The whole mantra of tough, smart, accountable, that sounded good year 1, year 2, year 3. It sounded good probably year 4. But I'm just not sure that after 6 years, the same message is being resonated with in the locker room. I'm wondering if everything about Kevin Stefanski is starting to fall on deaf ears. It's easy to buy in and have blind faith in the beginning, in the early stages. But when you consistently lose or lose more than what you win, like, it's something between what you preaching and what the results are that's not adding up. And I'm just not sure if the same energy from the players like is at the level that it used to be. I'm not in that locker room every day. I can't tell you for sure, but all I know is we can sit up here and talk about how bad the roster is and what the Browns don't have, etc. There are certain people that can get more out of less, right? At one point, we believe Kevin Stefanski was one of those people. And so I get it. It's not the exact same roster that it was when we came in ranked in the season number 11 last year, 2024. But it's not like this roster is drastically turned over from before. And so that tells me that something else has went drastically wrong with inside that team, with inside that organization, to where the results are what they are. If Jimmy Haslam has this blind faith and this is the continuity that he want to die on, cool, dude. You own this football team. I can't tell you what to do. I'm just a fan that happened to have a job that paid me for opinion. It is what it is. But at the end of the day, I look at the Cleveland Browns and they're just stale. And nothing about what's currently going on gets me, or I'm quite sure most fans, excited about things turning around in the future. I find it hard to believe that we are going to reach our ultimate goal of winning the Super Bowl with this current regime. And if Jimmy want to think that, Jimmy, you can think that on your own.
Super Bowl. Let's try scoring 17 points in back-to-back
But
weeks.
But that's why. Here's why I say that the ultimate goal of any NFL franchise is to win a Super Bowl. Our fan base want to see your Super Bowl. If you trying to preach this whole continuity with Andrew Berry and Kevin Stefanski and how, like, I made a bad trade, you can put that on me, and I just believe that, if Kevin can dig this out of us, well, Kevin still have to have the ear of the players in the locker room in order to dig out of anything. And so it's not just about one trade. It's not even just about like the roster or the roster construction. There's a lot that goes into an organization or a team being good or being bad. And I'm just looking at this situation, and I don't believe that if things remain what they are, that you're going to have an excited fan base or a fan base that believe, like, you know what, better days are ahead. That's just my personal opinion.
I have a hard time arguing.
You listen here. Listen, let's just get down to the brass tacks of it. Everybody want to talk about this continuity thing, bro. Continuity, that sound cute. But in real life, when you don't do a job, you get fired. You got 2 weeks to have a bad day at your job and you're gone. You got 2 weeks. That you can have a bunch of stuff go happen. Kevin Stefanski is not, by the numbers, he's not good. By the win-loss total, he's not good. By development, he's not good. By the way he motivates his teams, he's not good. His penalties, it's not good. You can't point to anything that you're seeing on the football field, and I'd be getting it, man. Everybody, G. Bush, you're a clown. Listen, bro, my stats ain't sitting on the football field. If you want to rub Kevin Stefanski's shoulders and that's what you want to do, and you would rather sacrifice the entire organization winning football games and actually doing something. That's why Myles Garrett was mad. Because here's the thing. Like, frankly, let's be clear about it. Every 5 seconds, somebody got to talk about Myles Garrett, but Myles Garrett got 5 sacks. I don't know how y'all think. You know what 5 sacks look like? Some people don't get that in their career. So when you put your
have had 5 sacks in a game, 20 players ever.
He got 5 sacks. The reason he's slamming his helmet is because on Monday and Tuesday, he's going to see people sitting up here and his owner and people in the fans and people saying, oh, we love Kevin Stefanski. And he's sitting here saying, oh, you like him more than what I'm putting on the football field? We got guys breaking their neck trying to win out here. By the way, here's what happens to your offense when you don't have Quinshon Judkins propping it up, by the way. His shoulder a little sore. You see it go right back to zero. Listen, the Cleveland Browns on the football field are not close. They are the closest thing I've seen to an expansion team in a very long time. And the problem is we're used to expansion teams, and we've come to just accept that. At one point in time, maybe if this was New York or Philadelphia or Dallas or San Francisco or Miami, they would have already moved on from half of these dudes, right? Because they're not going to play around. But here, we just like the colors. I get it. You want to wear your colors and like it because your granddaddy was here or your father was here. Some people actually want to win. And so, yeah, if you call me a clown all I want, I'll laugh all the way sitting clowning these dudes in this play on the field. And by the way, I'm a diehard fan, and I've been such. I grew up in the footsteps of the Pro Football Hall of Fame. So nobody don't want to win, and nobody want to win as much as I do. But at some point, you got to call a spade, bro. You're sitting here holding on to old garbage and old stuff that ain't going to amount to nothing. Kevin Stefanski, Mike Vrabel was laughing at you today. Ha! You see Mike Vrabel? You leave these dudes. I know exactly what they about. I was there. Clown behavior. That's the person you should be worried about calling the clown.
So, G, continuity is a funny word, right? You mentioned it sounds great. When you say continuity, everyone can buy into continuity, right? But do you know when continuity doesn't work? When you're keeping a bad product and you're just continuing to roll it out because you don't want to make a change, right? You're in a bad relationship. Well, I can stay in this relationship because it's comfortable, it's easy, but I'm not happy. Or you can go through the uncomfortable phase of making a change and trying to put yourself back on a path to get better. Continuity works in Kansas City. You know why? Because they got Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid. And continuity works in Buffalo when you have Sean McDermott and Josh Allen, right? And there's results that you can fall back on and say, I think these two, this pair, this combination of quarterback, coach, GM, whatever the combination we're talking about is, they have a proven track record to deserve a second chance. And I just challenge anybody. Where is the track record for Kevin and AB to stick around? And if you want to say, well, I'm not sure we can do better, look what we just watched for 60 minutes, guys. Look what we watched against Pittsburgh. And look what we've seen for the majority of this season and last season. What's the record over the last 2 years now? They won, 3 games last year, 2 games this year? So they're 5-19. Like, how much worse do you want to get? And do you trust these two to evaluate and pick a quarterback? Do you? Because that's where it's heading. That's the direction we're heading. So if you want to stay continuous with this regime, you're going to have to see and watch and trust them to develop the next quarterback, whoever that may be. It could be Shador. It could be someone they draft. But once again, I'm going to go back to that word track record, G. Where is the track record that we are now sitting on to believe that things are going to change? I like continuity for the most part. But you have to have something to fall back on to be worthy of getting that second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth chance. And I'm just not sure where this particular tandem of Andrew Berry and Kevin Stefanski go to. And you can look back at the most recent draft class, Earl. It looks good on paper, right? They have a couple players who are playing well, but that's 1 out of 6, right? And
Hey, Kevin, you want to know what I thought about?
Coach of the year, but he's had some absolutely miserable years in the middle. And last point, if y'all want to sit through and watch this offense for 17 more games next year, that's on you, because you look around at any other team, it looks like they're playing a different sport than the Cleveland Browns are offensively.
Completely.
And we've gone through multiple quarterbacks, and Joe Burrow looks pretty good in Cincinnati, by the way. He's playing pretty well.
Oh, Flacco's still dropping down.
Here. So
you want to know what I thought about though, G? We
What's
talking
that,
about
man?
Jimmy Haslam, and he has grown to this place to where he can give grace and he has a little bit more patience than what we used to. But I always think back, right? I thought 2018 things was really taking a turn in the right direction. Man, what if John Dorsey didn't hire the wrong coach? Like, would we be in this situation? I don't really know everything that happened behind closed doors, but on the outside looking in, it looks like that John Dorsey lost his job because he hired Freddie Kitchens. But we knew the type of roster that John Dorsey was constructing on this team. And I just go back and wonder, like, man, what happens if he don't hire the wrong coach, or what happens if Jimmy Haslam had this same energy back then that he has now, to the point of, you know what, I'm gonna give you an opportunity to get this right based on everything else I've seen you do. And so when we talk about continuity, Mike, I think you're absolutely right. It's one thing that, like, continuity is a tricky word. You know, you can have toxic and unhealthy continuity, or you can have healthy continuity that's taking you to the next level. We don't believe that we have healthy continuity right now. We have continuity just for the sake of reputation or stereotype, meaning that he being Jimmy Haslam is so known for being like quick on the trigger and firing people, that because he don't want that reputation attached to his name, that all of a sudden he's displaying a level of patience that we've never seen before. And I really think that plays a large part into it. And I do wonder somewhere in the back of my mind, do he go, man, I really effed that up with John Dorsey. And because of that, he's probably living in his fears a little bit. And maybe this is just a fan and me pulling for anything to try to make logical sense of what the hell is going on with this football team.
Let me get you. You brought up a case study right there. You brought up the 2019 Browns, and I had to go get back into my calculator and figure out what this was going on. Now, the thought process that Freddie Kitchens was a horrible head coach, right? But what if I told you Freddie Kitchens had more of a prolific season than your boy Kevin Stefanski has ever had? Let me go back and look at the stats. He got fired after this 1 year. So did you know that Baker Mayfield threw for almost 4,000 yards that year? Did you know in Freddie Kitchens' offense, Nick Chubb had 1,494 yards? Did you also know, contrary to popular belief, Odell Beckham Jr. had 1,000 yards? Did you know Jarvis Landry had 1,100 yards? Now, this guy got fired in 1 year, and they laugh at him. But if Kevin Stefanski had anybody that threw for 4,000, no, not close. 1,500 yards on the ground and 2 receivers with over 1,000 yards, and he's the laughing stock. You see, this is the part that gets me. Narrative over facts. Narrative, and it's funny how if you say it enough and you get people who continuously swing and ring the bell for Kevin Stefanski and his offense, and then you tell them his offense ain't even Freddie Kitchens' offense.
Gee, I wasn't here for the Freddie Kitchens era. What was the eventual demise? What was the reason they split ties with Freddie after 1 year?
He had some of the same blunders that Kevin Stefanski did. Time management, couldn't get the play calling would be inexplicable. You had situations with the quarterbacks. Baker Mayfield also that year threw 21 interceptions. That was another thing. Baker Mayfield regressed. But when you talk about it, it's funny how when we go back and look at some of these things and you actually break it down, you say, well, hold on.
It make you go, damn, don't it?
Well, wow. If it was good enough to fire him, then
we got a little bit of breaking news that we have to mention real quick. Stefanski's at the podium. You have to take into account that he said things right after a game that have not necessarily been true as it moves forward, but Stefanski said, I'm not making a quarterback change. Gabriel will be my quarterback after the bye. We haven't really touched on how bad Dylan played today. We've kind of gone straight to Stefanski. I'll keep my analysis real quick on this short. We'll go around the horn. By far, Dylan's worst game. By far, the first interception. He was 2 yards behind Njoku. We had asked him to throw a deep ball. I'm not sure if chucking a deep ball in a double coverage with Isaiah Bond out there is the right decision to make. But give the cornerback credit. He made a hell of an interception. That was actually a sick catch. The interception.
It was. One hand.
But he threw 2 touchdowns, had 2 picks, 152 yards. I said it when they drafted him. He's a career backup. I thought that's what they drafted him to be, a career backup. And he looks exactly like a career backup. And nothing he did today changed my opinion that he's just not a starting caliber quarterback in football. So we'll see. What do you guys think?
Look, man,
right? It's just, man.
It's one of those things where this is why I've always said, well, the Browns feel that so-and-so. Well, the Browns, for right or wrongly, the Browns feel, I don't care what Kevin Stefanski feel. I feel, you know what? Here's what we need to do. I'm actually glad about this. Don't even talk about Shedeur Sanders. Sit him aside. Let him just sit. I don't care. I'm tired because what it starts to be is you'll use that as a distraction to do the conversation. Don't even say Shador. Forget that. Let's talk about Dylan Gabriel's merits on the football field and Kevin Stefanski's merits. On their merits and what they are doing, it's what everybody saw. They talked about everybody. Oh my goodness, he's a 5th round pick. Listen, Dylan Gabriel really is a 5th round pick. I mean, you want to talk about being overdrafted in the 3rd round? Like, let's keep it real. He's a great kid, great guy. I have no problem with him. But if you are an analyst or you sitting here watching these games on television, listen, man, on his own merits, 12 aside, this is regular at best. It's and I didn't even say regular. I mean, what were you doing in the end zone nonchalantly on a safety? You're a quarterback. You're the supercomputer. You're supposed to understand that, listen, if there's nobody in the area, at least throw it 40 yards downfield out of bounds. Don't summarily drop it 2 yards and then everybody's looking around like, was there a guy out there? No, you can't do that, bro. So that's 3 turnovers and more points. So to me, I'm not going to just look. We got to we'll make believe for a couple more weeks that it's not that bad until, he plays himself completely out of the position. And then we'll be able to say, well, you guys, and then it'll be, well, I mean, no one ever thought Dylan was going to be a franchise guy anyway. Why don't we just skip the pleasantries and get to that after the game 4 so we don't have to play the game anymore, right?
This is how I look at it, right? I said back after they drafted Dylan Gabriel as we got closer to the season that of all the rookies, I will be evaluating him closer than anybody else because for the first time, we believe that Kevin Stefanski had the opportunity to pick his quarterback. This is the quarterback that he picked based on the things that he liked most, the little bullet points that everybody lists, the pros and the cons. He was a supercomputer, right? His processing speed was very, very fast. His intelligence was through the roof. We've seen his poise. We've seen his command of the offense. In my mind, right, if Kevin Stefanski is, hey, this is my guy, this is the quarterback I want. I ain't never had the opportunity to get my guy. This is my guy. If this is your guy and you believe that you as a head coach can get the most out of Dylan Gabriel, again, I said that they were operating like they found a needle in a haystack. People thought I was being a hater. But if this is your guy, I can only assume that means Kevin Stefanski believes I can get the absolute most out of Dylan Gabriel. Dylan Gabriel been short. So in my mind, you should have him at minimum looking like he did his senior year in college. At minimum, he should still be capable of doing the basics that got him to the point of being draft eligible and ultimately drafted by an NFL team, right? His measurables been his measurables, his left hand been his left hand, all of that. So as a head coach, if you know that jobs are on the line, maybe they are, maybe they ain't. If you know that all this fan pressure is on you to see what you can do as far as growth and development, this is the dude by all accounts that you selected. And so no matter how fast his processing speed is, no matter how poised he is, no matter how much command he looks to have of the offense at times, at the end of the day, the results are not great at all. No. And so that says a lot about you, Kevin Stefanski, but it also says a lot about what we knew about Dylan Gabriel. Mike, lead producer of the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show. He gives me a task all the time, especially around draft time, about, okay, this is the list of players per position that I need like you to do it, get information on and create graphics for it. Not once did he ever come to me and say, I need you to do anything on Dylan Gabriel. When we look at all these different draft experts, and we look at everybody who are smarter than us and study this and have done this for a living, I can't think of one that had him rated in the top 6 of quarterbacks. And I can't think of one that had him rated in the top 150 of overall players. But when I say that the Browns are operating like they found a needle in a haystack, it just goes to the mantra. I'm not saying that it's true, but from the outside looking in, y'all do act like y'all smarter than everybody. Y'all do walk around like y'all got some special formula that everybody else ain't figured out, and that y'all can cook up something that nobody ever cooked up before, and it's going to be great. They have shown us more often than not that is not the case. Browns fans was tired, man. They fed up, man, and pissed off, and rightfully so. I don't look at Dylan Gabriel and say, okay, I believe that this is going to get better. That's just my personal assessment. Is it fair to really come to a conclusion over any NFL player after 4 career starts? No. But if I'm basing you what I've seen in 4 games, man, ain't nothing special there. And Kevin Stefanski should be fired even more so, because I'm trying to understand why you couldn't get the most out of the dude that you said that you wanted. In my mind, if you want him, you know how to use him. You don't know how to do a damn thing.
I mean, the fact they took him in the 3rd round just, once again, speaks volumes to the fact that they saw him as a backup. Like, you don't draft your future starting quarterback in the 3rd round. You don't. It's never happened with the intention of drafting the future face of your franchise, which is the starting quarterback, that late. If you like Dylan that much, he would have been a 1st-round pick. I think they took him to be a backup. He's played like a backup quarterback, and that is a low bar, but that's where he's been at through 4 starts now. And it's a shame that we have to come on here every Sunday, guys, and talk about a football team that is as incompetent as humanly possible when it comes to their offensive performance. And I also want to give a shout out to the 8,000 plus people we got watching right now, Earl.
Crazy.
That is a new UCSS record for any program we've ever done. So shout out to you guys for joining us in this therapy session following a miserable performance from the Cleveland Browns. We appreciate it.
Best fans of any show in the city of Cleveland.
Yeah, we really, really do. So thank y'all for tuning in with us. It just sucks that we don't have a better product to talk about. And like, we could talk in circles, right? Last week they won, but we were like, yeah, they didn't really play that well. The Dolphins just sucked. The Dolphins scored 31 points today, by the way. 2 through 4 touchdowns, no picks. all these teams seem to have like bad games, and it's like, oh, they sucked 1 week, but they bounced back, right? Carolina had won 3 in a row. Buffalo, who had lost 2 in a row, then had a bye. They put up 40 today on Carolina. And obviously, Buffalo has Josh Allen, different example, but look how Tua looked against us last week, right? It was horrible. Horrible. Absolutely horrible. And then he looks competent again. Well, where's our week of, hey, it looked competent. It worked, right? Like, just where is that? And that's just why I'm getting frustrated and fed up, because they don't have that. It worked. Even when they beat Green Bay, Earl,
it was last week.
Points.
You got your money off last week, McDougall.
Like, I'm telling you, the rain forced the competent game plan. Dylan Gabriel threw the ball less than 20 times. Quinshawn Junker ran it 25. The rain forced you to play competent,
they don't build the
AFC
damn dome.
North Cleveland style of football. The rain forced you to lean on your best player and not try to force your own damn agenda. The rain, Mike. It was the rain last week.
Then we have to change.
We can stand the rain.
Plans, okay? We don't need a dome. We need a sprinkler, a giant sprinkler system over Huntington Bank Field on the lake, and make it rain every game. Like, if the Browns need a second act from Mother Nature to play some competent looking offensive, and let's be honest, the offense wasn't even good last week.
No,
Quinshawn had 1 long run. He had 1 46-yard run. He had 24 carries for 36 yards. Dylan Gabriel completed 12 passes. It wasn't good. Just Miami was worse. Like, we haven't seen a good offensive showing yet in 8 games, 7 games. What's the record? I think it's 7 games.
What's their record?
Hey man, people run around here.
No, 8 games. They're 2-6. Like, and the defense played like absolute dog crap on the road again today. Can we get a halfway? I'm fed up. Thank God the Cavs play tonight. Sorry, I'm ranting now. Thank God the Cavs play tonight. Or if the Cavs lose, like, I don't know what we're gonna do. I may lose my gasket. I may just pop off.
I'm gonna knock everything over if the Cavs lose tonight. I'm knocking everything over. Like, I know, like, we shouldn't be crossing over, but I bet I never see a damn performance like that out of Evan Mobley. And me and you sitting up here like cash and checks, green light and everything. We got all this Evan Mobley stock. Man, listen, everybody's entitled to a bad game, but you are Evan Mobley. I bet not ever see you take 12 shots in the game for the rest of the season. Like, that can't happen. So, you know, shout out to the Cleveland Cavaliers, hopefully, for giving us something to be more energized about by the later on tonight than what we are right now.
Earl, give me your final thoughts. And then we have 70 plus super chats, so we're gonna have to fly through those. So Earl and I can get to Rocket Arena.
Final thoughts is, look, man. You know, at this point, you look at the Cleveland Browns. It don't take all of that to switch your organization around. Mike Vrabel been there 5-6 months, and they didn't put it together, right? Look at all these other teams that continue to put it together. Hey, looks like Jackson Dart is figuring it out, huh? Looks like he's competent. But Tom Brady said one thing. He said, we always rank in quarterbacks. He said, but we never rank offensive coordinators and head coaches. We want to put everybody in the top 10 or a top 5. He said, but what happens if you're a quarterback and you got the 32nd worst head coach and the 28th worst play caller? He said, how do you feel like you're going to go out there and you're going to show yourself? And I said, well, for the Cleveland Browns, unfortunately, their head coach is their play caller. So when you're 32 out of 32, and by the way, I don't think we take anybody else over. Who you taking? I mean, it's a very small list you taking that you would take Kevin Stefanski over at this point.
He's in a conversation that you can't really argue against for bottom of the league right now.
So at this point, we look at these other teams and they have Drake Maye. And you watch these other teams and they got their quarterbacks, but every single year you continue to let this guy sit around. You're going to have another year or 2 years that you're going to have to bury yourself and dig out of a hole. Because here's the biggest problem. If you want to keep Kevin Stefanski around, and this guy's eyes told him that Dylan Gabriel was the second best quarterback in this draft, and he's the one making an evaluation in this year's draft where everything is a 50-50. If you drafted anywhere in this first round next year in this 26 class, it's 50-50. It's just toss up. Who knows, right? But you trusted him to take him. That's where you really set your organization back, is bringing him back an extra year and letting him use your high capital on a quarterback that you attached to for 4 to 5 years.
All right, super chat. Hey, we literally have 80 super chats. So unless you feel a need to, you have to respond. Let me read these so we could be here for 3 hours doing them. XY Juju says, look at our supercomputer go. Steve says, Vrabel put the work on us. Kevin needs to go. Demonic Drag says, why isn't Kevin such booty at play calling after the first 15 scripted plays? I'll give him the first 15. Otherwise, he's cheeks. They don't adjust after the first 15, right? Like, it feels like they come out with something that works. They find someone on film. The defense adjusts. They cover it up, and then Stefanski and them never.
My friends say, you know what me and my friends say that's worse than that? If somebody is like really, really ass, we say they dookie juice.
That is disgusting.
That's nasty. I don't like that.
Exactly.
Zach says, my name is Bobby Reed, and I know the Browns deactivated Sanders as an excuse to why he didn't play. This is trash. DG's awful. Our guy Boog, who came on the show, Shador's homie, said Shador's legit hurt. So I'm gonna trust Boog over this super chatter. No offense, Bobby Reed.
Hey, I don't need to. No, you sit right over there. You let them coach and throw out of their way. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. I'm trusting Boog on that one. HNT says Earl. Raptor says error cannot compute one team rep since May. He's terrible. Only touchdown on a scripted drive, wide open, 0 tight windows throws. Time for 12. Juju's PSN said supercomputer beep 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 beep. Squizerm says 5 sacks franchise record. Offense blew it again. Fire Kevin. Bench Dillon. The offense is horrible. Needs to be fired. Needs to be fixed. Xavier Jones says heartbreaking. HNT says barbershop. Raptor Jr. says G-Man, your series. Age like fine wine, 1965 IBM. Paul, the true believer, says, so we are tired of fake injuries to make inadequate starting quarterback feel comfortable. Can we just skip all the fake injury stuff? I'm trusting Boog. Do you guys think he faked the injury?
All right, so it's funny that you said that because I wasn't going to say anything, but I follow Boog on social media. And I was on air yesterday when the news came down about the back injury. I kind of was reserved. I was playing around with my co-host. I wonder how he got hurt. He don't even get a chance to do nothing. How he get hurt? But then I seen Boog tweet it out, and then we all know if you follow Boog, he
keeps it real.
He don't mince words.
Yeah.
And so because he's so close to Shador, and because you can't really trust what's what, if somebody that I know for a fact got his best interest at heart is saying that he was hurt, I'm going to trust the fact that he was hurt.
Yeah, listen, bro, he first of all, he's not going to take himself out of the game. If you say he hurt at the end of the day. So, 2, I'm not even going to get caught. That's beside the point. People think that there has to be.
It's one of the distractions that the other people be doing.
No, that ain't. No, let it stay right on them right now. Don't you give me the. Who cares if he be out? No. We're gonna go to the bye. You let them stand on this performance. Don't ask
you gonna get this work.
12. Nobody. What did you do today?
All right. So we're gonna skip any fake injury ones for the rest of the super. Just a heads up. We're just gonna skip them. We've addressed it. HNT says Miles was mad. Squizm
Shout out
says
to
that
APT.
1973 MS-DOS mainframe got smoke coming from the motherboard, 2 interceptions, a safety, and a throwaway pass, multiple passes again. Mike Burns says, it's not they don't scheme guys open. Gabriel doesn't see them as they're afraid to make the throws. He is not good. This is crazy, this quarterback play. Zoe's father, 1980, says, we have passed supreme nasty work to diabolical.
Whew.
Miss Bell 70 says, hey, tell Miles all money ain't all good money. B. Haas says, Vrabel turned New England around in half a season. We're still in the same spot after 6 years, but big continuity. Jimmy holds your team accountable for something. Econ says, can we all agree that Stefanski has been longing now about DG? Miss Bell says, tell Stefanski and Haslam DG is done growing. Bill Rodewald says, I've been patient on DG. He doesn't elevate anyone. Hope Shador is ready for how nasty his debut is going to be. Hope his insurance is paid up. Paul the Believer says, you guys are easy to prepare for. All you have to do is shut down the run and force Dillon to throw the ball. And the Browns, here we go again with the L. Christopher Robbins says, Miles' post-game is going to be nasty work. He has not spoken yet. I am very excited to see what he said. Lord of the Drip OG says that safety was wild. G. Quavos 2 says it's not science. Dillon can't throw past 40. Vrabel seen that and said, nope, we're sitting 10 yards back, hitting everything. You're going to lose every time. Marcus Page says, I have no idea what further proof they need to put Shador in. We at least should see if Shador can overcome this limited outfit to some degree. Palace Life Kid says, hopefully a good Cleveland Cavs win against another team our horrible owner owns will make me feel better. Probably not, LOL. Squizm said DG threw that ball late, which is why it wasn't a touchdown. Bond was standing there waiting, had to jump to get it. Clean your glasses. I just did clean my glasses.
He was open.
Squizm. TW says Sanders can't run this type of offense. Lies. Bobby Sterling says call him DG because he's Dollar General. Ms. Bell says Shador is better in his sleep and stop showing Shador dancing around and practicing, then say he's hurt. He played with a fractured back at CU. Imacon says, wonder how Jason's going to spin this one. Warriors for Life says, can't wait to watch 2 clips of DG's mistakes. Samuel Santana says, was Kevin looking at his coloring book? Soul Jiha says, if not for Shador, half of us would not be here waiting for the Browns. Are trash right now. Malibu Ken says, Shane Falco looked good today for the Bengals. DW said, DG isn't it. I'm tired of him. Give the fans at least something they want. The D can play ball. The D can't play offense too. Derek Easter Day says DG finally ran into defenders that can catch. Vigilant Hawk says, McNuggets, you're wrong. DG's to blame for the helmet pass. That was not a drag, a slant. That's an offense problem. Today is on DG. No, you're wrong. That was 100% on the receiver not turning his head against Pittsburgh. G. Earl, do we want to address that or just move on?
You talk about the one where he hadn't even helmet?
Against Pittsburgh, yeah.
Yeah, he ran. First of all, he ran the wrong route. And then when he ran the wrong route, he didn't turn his head around because he didn't know what the depth. So it hit him in the head. So that went on him. Yeah.
It was still funny across
the board. Jesse says, how does Stefanski still have a job? He has no major accolades in coaching outside of 2 times Coach of the Year, which, by the way, is voted on by the AP. Zach Sheila says 12 straight.
So the writers vote on that. The writers vote on it? It's not the players or the coaches? I didn't know that.
Are you being serious, G?
No, I was just joking.
Okay. I was going to say, come on now. I know you know that.
I was joking.
Sly says, remember when people were mad Deshaun wanted to change the offense? Paul the Believer says, you guys are ridiculous. Gabriel was throwing picks in practice. No long balls. It's check down, bubble screens, backup at best. Vernell Jackson says Gabriel should have 12 picks in 4 games. BD Dog says, as a former defensive player, if I was in the locker room, there's no way I could believe in what I see on the offensive side of the ball or Gabriel. Squizm says this is about Stefanski. Stop throwing AB in. Josh Byrne says DG threw 2 back-to-back interceptions and allowed a safety. 60-70% of the loss is on him. Sly says Stefanski wasted 2 top 10 quarterbacks. Mr. Kirby says only reasoning the offense scored over 17 last game is because Judkins didn't run that pick in. Stefanski's offense is not it. Travis Talley says, screw a Super Bowl. We just want to be competitive, have a chance to win. Ziplum says, continuity went out the door with Baker. Sly says, with each week, I believe 4 is washed less and less. Viva Hernando says, can't do better. Hire the last 2 Miami head coaches. Flores, head coach DC, McDaniels the OC, then win and prosper. Problem solved. Q Dog says Huntley and Flacco played better than Gabriel. Red Duck says the saddest part I was fooled into thinking it would be a good game because of how we started. Kevin Miller said Freddie went 500 in the division. Thought through the fire podcast said Stefanski just dared the owner to fire him by doubling down on Gabriel. Christopher Robbins said we need a boycott, strength in numbers. Blow and Za says Google who AB helped draft under John Dorsey. You can stop with this 1-6 nonsense. He drafted Baker, Chubb, Jenkins, Miles, Denzel, JOK, Carson, etc. Torrance Smith says shady Cleveland sports media takes. 1, supercomputer can't process. 2, no turnovers. 6, turn-of-the-worthy plays today. Mike Burns says DG is a processor on dial-up. Christopher Robbins, Stefanski's daring Jimmy to fire him, saying he's continuing to move forward with Dylan. Jimmy's grandkids are going to fire Kevin. Ryan.
That's kind of
Danberg,
funny work.
Fire everybody. Happett Valley Farms. DG is losing trade value the longer he plays. D4L Josh. The Feds need to check this offense. King Adam. The only thing the Browns cooking is L's. JA says the Stefanski can wound the spirit of another man's child. Frustrates us. He's a clown. AB, he drafted well, including a quarterback. Stefanski gets to fall alone. Emos says, please trade Shador to the Jets. Got Ham something Labs. When the suds died down, the dirt will show DG. OG Powers, if you want to see good offense, look at the first preseason game. James Mace, same old Browns, blowing Zai. AB is the last tether to John Dorsey. Sashi didn't give us this team. A lot of y'all really uninformed. AB will leave, make another Detroit. Early B, hey G. Dylan is the check down king. Malibu Ken, Drake May, 24 pass attempts. Dylan Gabriel, 35. Juju season, Stefanski and DG smell like hot dog water. James Mace, it's only a matter of time.
Gosh.
Marcus Page, the work was nasty in the back of Forrest Whitaker's neck. James Mace, Shador's comfortably in the catbird seat. Independent Thinker says Kevin just said he's keeping Dillian after the bye. David Walker, with my time coaching and quarterbacks, you have to understand they would rather do it their way than lose and make changes trying to win. Unhappy Meal Gang, fire that goofy Kevin Stefanski. He's booty. Drewski, the supercomputer, he has a virus. And last but not least, V Miracle, the offense looking like the longest yard 2.0. We appreciate the super chats. We'll break this down tomorrow on UCSS. Earl and I got to hop over to the Cavs arena. G. Bush, have a great night. Go Browns. We'll see you tomorrow. Peace.